Welcome to ADFARTECH Venture Podcast. I'm your host, Janvi Gurwal, and today we are joined by Erwin Hoen from BlueTale.V, a specialist in digital transformation and low-code development. Using the Mendix platform, we will discuss how low-code solutions are revolutionizing the industries. Before we get into the podcast, I would just like Erwin to introduce himself.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you for having me. Well, as you said, Erwin at Hoen, I have a company that specializes in Mendix development and consultancy. This is a very young company, so we started out in 2021. That doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of experience because we've worked for several different companies. We're together with my other two founders, building Mendix solutions for clients since 2007, 2006 or 2007. Building all kinds of software for different clients from large to smaller, very small companies, and having a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, that's nice. So you have two founders apart from you.
Yeah, we worked for a couple of partners from Mendix for quite a while, and somewhere around 2019, we came up with the idea to start BlueTale with two of my former colleagues, which are currently my colleagues, but then within BlueTale. And we did that because we thought the most important thing I think you can do when working is to have fun. And we decided that we can create a company that sort of measures everything against fun in the broader sense. And the broader sense is not only just having fun in your work, but making sure that what you do is fun for clients as well. And make sure that it isn't all about the bottom line. It's all about delivering quality to your clients, delivering quality software, delivering quality products so that people really want to use that, and ensuring that it's good software, performing software, and it's fun in collaboration with your clients as well.
Okay. As you have said, like it is fun and delivering quality. So clients will even appreciate collaborating with it. Okay, so before we dive into the Q&A with you, I would just like to introduce ADFARTECH as well.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so basically ADFARTECH is a pioneer technology solution provider dedicated to innovation and efficiency. At ADFARTECH, we are a platform with focus on IT solution, IT resources, recruitment, and tech audio podcast with partners over 50 plus tech giants like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, Pega, OutSystems, APN, Salesforce, Cloudera, Informatica, and many more. We specialize in services like ERP, web development, data, AI, MLA, blockchain, cloud managed services, UX, UI testing, and cybersecurity. We have a team of over 20,000 plus experts in various fields who can either on-site or offshore can be deployed within 24 hours. We are big from hearing tech leaders. So that's why we have you today here, Erwin. Okay,
Oh.
so hello?
No, go ahead.
So Erwin, let's start with the Q&A.
Yes.
Okay, so Erwin, can you just give me an insight about what is low-code technology?
So you have a lot of different definitions about low code. And I sort of like the way, because we work with Mendix. We like the way that Mendix defines low code, and it's sort of the way that organizations like the big analyst firms define low code as well. And it's not a very clear definition because there are a lot of low code platforms available on the market. But if you look at Mendix, the most important part about low-code development is it is rather than being a technical tool to build software, it's more a visual approach in which you develop applications in a model-driven fashion with a visual drag and drop interface, which is quite a broad thing to define that in that way, because you have different sorts of low-code development environments. Lots of environments that are available in the market are quite restrictive. So they are purpose-built, so it's for specific purposes. While the leaders in the market, of which Mendix is currently the world leader in low-code development, is very generic. So what they did is to make an abstraction of development code into something that is visual, but did that in such a fine-grained manner that you have all the freedom like you would have in a traditional coding language like C# or .NET or whatever. And it delivers you the possibility to build any type of software, but in a visual manner that ensures a couple of things, and that is you can focus far more on the business side of the technology than on the technology itself. And that means you can think about the logic, about the business problem that you're solving, and you're sort of taking the technology part out of the equation. While in traditional programming languages, you often have much more focus and much more time needed to fix all the technology things in the software that you're building. So you're finding points and you're finding commas and you're finding brackets and stuff like that. While because of that abstraction of that code, you don't really need to focus on that because it's already done for you. Difference between Mendix and lots of other low-code development platforms is that it is not only it is a model-driven approach, but it's also the fact that you really create models, and models are being interpreted rather than being created as a model and then being transformed into essentially a piece of code again. Now, it's really a model that you're building. You're looking at the model, and the runtime server is investigating or is interpreting the model that you have created.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so can you just make a small conclusion for me? Like, how can we define what is low-code technology? It is like the most advanced method, as you said, and very different from the traditional one.
I'm not quite clear on what you're asking.
Okay, I'm just asking you, can you just conclude it? Like, what is low-code technology in smaller words? So it becomes easier to understand.
Yeah. If low code is a very different way of looking at developing applications, which ensures that you can create applications with far less time and effort needed. So you can speed up the development of your applications and ensure the quality of your applications. So you get a far faster time to market because you can focus on the business problem rather than the technology problem.
Okay, got you. So basically, it is more like a CMS platform.
Well,
where you can use.
Yeah, the comparison to a CMS platform is common that people make that comparison, although it's very limited because that's what I said about the restrictiveness of lots of these low-code platforms are working more like the CMS platform because they're quite restricted. You can do certain things with that. With the CMS platform, you can do certain things. But if I ask you to build the core banking system with a CMS platform, you will probably say no. While with low code, you can do that because of the fine granularity of the functionality that is being offered by the low code platform. And in that way, you can see a low code platform much more as a very advanced programming language rather than comparing that to your CMS.
Yes. It is advanced version of, you can say, making applications in an easier way.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have mentioned about the Mendix. I just want to know what makes Mendix different from other low-code platforms.
Well, one thing is that it is a flexible platform, and it's not only delivering you the let's say the tool to build your software, but it's a whole a complete platform. Mendix delivers the IDE to build your applications. It delivers the functionality to manage your complete projects and manage the complete lifecycle of your applications. It delivers you an academy where you can learn about low code and how to develop the Mendix applications. It helps you in testing, and it helps you in monitoring of your complete application lifecycle. In addition to that, the difference between Mendix and lots of other platforms is the way that, let's say, the low code that you are developing is not being transferred or transformed into traditional code, where lots of other platforms are using a visual approach to building your software, so using the low code way of building software. And then at the end, once you have your running software, you need your running software, they transform it into traditional. That's not what Mendix is doing. Mendix is keeping that low code developed software as low code, and it's interpreting the software. And by doing so, we can speed up a lot of things. We can deliver software very, very fast with very few resources, and it's easy to learn. And it ensures that because you're just interpreting the code, instead of the low code, you're interpreting the local code and you're interpreting the models. There isn't a disconnect between what you're building and what you're eventually getting. And the nice thing is what Mendix can also do is, next to building applications, which are cloud-based applications, because that's part of the platform as well. And so you can deploy your applications, and you can even deploy your applications for free for very small applications. You can also build your complete native offline applications with the same low-code approach. So you can build your phone apps and your tablet apps in a low-code approach. And that's most of the differences between Mendix and other low-code platforms, while there are also a lot of similarities, of course.
So we just got to know like Mendix is very super, you can say, user-friendly app.
Yeah, it's something that is part of the sort of the DNA of Mendix. What Mendix did when they first started, they wanted to address a very particular problem, and that was making sure that we can bridge the gap between business and IT. Because we have a lot of companies, we have the gap between the business side of things and the IT side of things. The IT side of things often doesn't understand the business quite well, and the business side of things doesn't understand IT quite well. And what Mendix tried to do is bridge that gap between those two parts of a company, and ensure that we can understand each other and can work together instead of sort of delivering. On the one hand, so IT is delivering something and business is demanding something. We can ensure that we can work together, and we can even allow business people with a bit of technical know-how, so not a formal IT guy or girl, to build their own software with the Mendix platform.
Okay, got you. So basically, how do BlueTale customize a Mendix solution for different clients?
What we do is we don't deliver direct solutions. So we don't deliver, we don't build sort of applications that we have lying around on the shelf, because we really believe that you should use custom software development for those things in a company for which you can't buy the software. So you have a lot of companies that we all have the same type of business processes in every organization. Every organization needs to create invoices and do things with HR and stuff like that. And there is software for that. And there's a lots of software for that. And we believe strongly that you should buy the software that you can buy, because there's lots of people that have been working on that software and that's working great for you. And it's probably much cheaper to buy a license on an ERP system than to build an ERP system and get that from a company like BlueTale. We already come in with those pieces of software for which you can't buy a solution. Or maybe you can buy a solution, but it isn't really working for you. We see, for example, in those cases, it is complex processes. You buy some software, has a complex process in there for onboarding new employees, for example. And while that works for maybe a large company or a larger company or specific companies, that doesn't really work for you. But most of the functionality of the software that you bought does work for you. Then we build something on top of that software because of the connectivity possibilities that the Mendix software delivers. You can easily build something on top of that software that you bought to ensure that you have a great experience on that particular process, and ensure that it makes it easy. So it takes away all the manual steps that you normally would have to take to sort of perform that complex process. There's a case, for example, that we had in the past, in which we had a utility company that wanted to ensure that they would be able to sell you something. Current days, if I want to buy something on the internet, I expect it to be delivered to me tomorrow and preferably even tonight. And they couldn't do that because it took lots of systems before you could be a company for that or be a client for that utility company. And it took them about 60 days to become a client. So if you don't want to sort of sell something in this with the same experience as buying something on a web shop, and that becomes a big problem. So what you can then do is either take away all those systems and ensure that you build your own web shop. But what really it is, we said, well, we'll take some Mendix software and ensure that we can create all that greater automation for all that manual work that needed to be done in maybe 20 different systems, and ensure that we can do that with a layer on top of those systems with a piece of Mendix software. So it's always custom software that we're building, solving sort of the reason why companies exist, and every company exists because they deliver something. They deliver something specific to the market, and probably for that very specific thing that they're doing, they need to have some pieces of standard software which they just buy. They can do invoicing and stuff like that, and they have those things that make them special and unique in the market. And if they have something that makes them specific and unique in the market, we can automate and digitalize that with a piece of Mendix software.
Okay, so do you think that automation and digitalization is one of the most important key factor of customization with BlueTale?
I think that for a lot of companies, it's automation is very important. I think also digitalization is very important, in which we can help in providing that service that your company is providing, which our clients are providing, by means of implementing Mendix software for those particular processes.
Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Can you just let me know what are the common challenges that a business faces in digital changes?
Well, I think that there's lots of problems and lots of challenges that they have. And some of those problems we can help them with Mendix software and developing software, and some of them are just business problems. If you want to really do a digital transformation, so go from more or less digital or even non-digital to digital, it's very important to have a complete strategy in place. So knowing what everybody in the company is doing, so and not just part of the company, and have all kinds of misalignments and stuff like that, and have a department starting to do something, but it doesn't align with your strategy. The strategy of a company we can't help you with, not directly, not with software. One of the other problems is that if you have certainly with larger companies, we have been doing things for a long time in the same way. So there are lots of people and are resistant to change. And that's a culture, which is difficult to change with software as well, because we're changing a lot. But another thing that you see in companies is that change management isn't implemented correctly, and it is quite a burden for organizations to get to grips with new tooling that we do introduce with Mendix, new applications and stuff like that. We need to train people, and with the Mendix platform, because of the flexibility, we can ensure that we build applications which are intuitive, which are created in such a way that we can take away that challenge of making sure that everybody knows how to work with these tools. Because as you know, you probably have 50 or 60 different apps on your phone, and you've never read the documentation of those apps. Maybe you read the security stuff, but you haven't seen any documentation how to use your apps. And that's what Mendix delivers you as well. We try to deliver applications for which you don't really need the documentation. Doesn't mean you don't create documentation, but shouldn't really need to have the documentation. One of the challenges you have is the expectation of your customer. And the customer, in this case, is very broad. It can be the customer that is buying your product or interacting with your company. So it's sort of the end customer, the real customer. But you could also see that the customer as the internal employee that is the customer for the company working with the software. And Mendix can help you there as well, because we can devise applications in such a way that they adhere to what everybody is expecting from software, and everybody's expecting them to work as easily as these phone applications, the applications in your phone work. Another thing, when you start with digital transformation, doing lots of things digital, we all know that we have quite a skills shortage in the market, because there's a lot of demand for software developers. And we can't really wait for transforming our business on filling that shortage. And as we said earlier, we talked a little bit about Mendix and why that's so easy to use. We can employ more people to build software, because in the companies I've worked for where we use the Mendix platform as well, not everybody has an IT background. Myself, I don't have an IT background. I was trained, so I have a master's degree in chemistry, and I can still build complex, performant, and compliant software with the Mendix platform. Why? Because it's quite easy to learn, so we can embrace more people to build software and bridge that gap between business and IT.
That's quite interesting. You're saying something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I was just saying that's quite impressive that you belong from the chemistry background, still you have so much knowledge about the IT, digital transformation, and how to automate things here.
And that's because of the fact that you can learn Mendix quite easily and that you don't really need to focus on the technical aspects, and that you can focus on what is hindering a company from transforming into a digital company. What is hindering them, and that is not the technology, because the technology is not really a problem anymore. The thing is that you need to think about what your clients want, what your customer wants, and focus on fixing that particular problem, and fixing that fast. And because you don't need to focus on learning a complex language, no, you just have to learn to focus on logic, and everybody can think about logic. And learn about programming in an environment like that.
Okay.
And as we were talking about the transformational obstacles, there's a lot of things that sort of hinder people, like how limitations in costs, because it seems to be that if you build software, it's going to cost you a lot. Because developing software is quite expensive. With the Mendix platform, they did a benchmark with Mendix development, and they did a benchmark and had people building an application in Java and building the same application in Mendix. And within that benchmark, they discovered that with Mendix, you can build applications around 6 to 7 times faster than building that in a traditional coding language like Java. And the nice thing is that you can do that with about 70% less resources. And by being able to do that, because we don't have to look for the semicolons in the code, and don't have to fix a lot of problems, because that's already done for you. You can automatically reduce the amount of work that's needed, and thereby lowering the costs quite easily.
Okay, so that's a benefit for the company itself.
That's the benefit that we can offer to our clients.
Definitely. So what is the advice would you like to give to the businesses thinking about using low-code solutions for their digital journey?
I would maybe at least 2. One is investigate exactly, make sure you start out with having a strategy. Just don't do low code because it's cool, because it's the new thing. Have a strategy, understand why you want to be using something like low code. And then once you have that strategy in place, find out which tools there are, which really fit for you, and start out small. Start out with just fixing one or 2 problems, or your biggest challenge. Maybe fix that first, and try to do that, and try to start to understand how low code is helping you in solving your challenges. By then, once you start understanding that, then you can start out, and from that small success that you had, start to scale that into larger implementations. Once you have that, you can start to structure it into governance and stuff like that on top of that.
Okay. So basically, you just want them to try it, like give a trial and error to it. If it works out for them, that's better. They can try.
Well, it's not so much a trial and error thing, but the thing is that if you start out and make things too big, and you don't really understand still how it works, then you often run into a lot of problems. If you don't know how to sort of build a car, for example, and you think, well, you know what, I'm going to build something that can match any sports car there is in the world. If you start doing that, you probably run into a lot of problems, and you're going to run into a lot of delays because there's a lot of things that you haven't thought about. But what if we just started out by building a go-kart, building something simple that really works? It isn't something that we completely need because we want to have that sports car, but we're working towards that. We can't just start from nothing and go into a completely new way of doing things. We sort of need to roll into that and see how it works. Maybe we need to roll into a new way of working because we were a big company. We were working with traditional development practices and doing waterfall, and now we all of a sudden need to do agile. That's quite a big change, and so it's sort of building up that change. So not just trying something, but it's doing something, but ensuring your success by not trying to build that sports car from the get-go.
Okay, got you. So, Evan, before we continue with the podcast, I'm sending you the link to rejoin it.
The link to what?
I'm sending you a link to rejoin the session. The session might get over in 4 to 5 minutes. So can you just rejoin the session again? Using
the session on Meetup. You mean?
Yeah, on Zoom itself.
On Zoom itself. Okay.
Yeah, I've sent you the link.
Let's see, yeah. And then rejoin it again.
If you want, I will send it to you on your LinkedIn.
I've got the link now, so let's see. I'll just copy that or copy the whole thing because maybe I need to ask her. I'll just copy that.
Okay.
That and just copy and paste.
We'll have to end it here.
Yeah. So then we end this session and
we will rejoin it again.
Okay. I'll do that now.
Yeah, sure. So basically, Evan, I just want to know one last thing from you. What do you think the future holds for low-code development and what opportunities it will bring for the businesses?
What I see and what the analyst firms, so the Gartners and Forresters see, companies in the world see for low-code and low-code development is that the expectation is that by, I think it's about 2027, so it's 3 years from now, about 75% of enterprises will be using low code. They will be using low code to build 75% of new software because it's far easier and it's more cost efficient to build software with low code. You also see that lots of companies will start using multiple platforms for building applications, low code applications, because there is no silver bullet. So although Mendix is the market leader and will continue to be so for quite a while, I think there are benefits to using other platforms as well. Because they have specific solutions, and I expect them to sort of evolve into that, to have specific solutions that serve a specific purpose and serve that in the best way possible. You see a lot of things happening to low code, certainly with things like the machine learning and AI coming into play with low code, and eventually, I think that we might even start building applications by using artificial intelligence, and even reducing the need for developers even more, and ensuring that we can even further bridge the gap between business and IT.
Okay, so it is all about bridging the gap between the business, right?
The benefit for companies, which will continue to be a benefit and even increase, is I think ensuring that we can build software that can be defined by the business, be developed by the business, and what might speed up things even more is that you'll see that these low-code platforms, which in essence are a different way of a programming language, will start to produce, and companies will start to produce components that serve a particular function, and we can reuse those components and combine all these different components into a solution that solves a business problem. And by doing that, we speed up the process of developing or digitizing a process even further.
Well, nice to know about the low code in detail with you. Thank you for sharing your experience with us, Erwin, today.
Hey, you're welcome.
Before we wrap up our incredible conversation, do you want to say something to our audience?
Oh yeah, so I think that it's a low code is really an interesting part of the market, the software market, and it's growing very, very rapidly. And even if you're currently doing something completely different, it would I think it would be very good to know about this market, and even just create an account. Create an account with Mendix. These accounts are free. You can test out the software and have a go with the software. Even the academy is free, so you can learn about building software with low code and Mendix. And even Mendix offers the option to deploy your Mendix application in a cloud environment, free of charge, which are small applications. There are some limitations in that, but you can start experiencing how low code could help you, could help your client, could help your customer, and understand sort of a bit more about where the market and the software market is moving to.
Okay, so even I will try it, and I will let you know.
Great. I think it's great to do that because in the end we can solve all kinds of problems with Mendix, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a business problem. I've simply built an application for my kids when they were in high school, and I built an application that is running in a Mendix free cloud slot, from which I can devise tests that they take in school as well. And build the software or ensure that they can learn with the help of software, and thereby doing sort of a digital transformation of schooling as well.
And even schools might opt for digital transformation in few years now. So
I think it would be a great thing for schools as well. You hear a lot of things that a lot of trends going on that people say, well, we need to ensure that our children need to start learning how to code. Well, I don't think that our children need to start learning how to code, because that's quite difficult. But I do think that our children need to learn how to low code, which is far less complex and far easier to learn. And they start enhancing the way they look at problems and analyze problems and solve problems or solve challenges.
Okay, so we are ready to face the challenge of the future by using low code. Okay, so I would like to thank our audience for tuning in. I hope they had a great time diving into the world of low code and Mendix with us.